What Happened to Linda Sue Karnes by Bailey Lynn. Linda Sue Karnes was a teenage girl who lived in foster care, and sadly in 1980 she went missing. In 1981, her remains were found in a landfill in Ashland City, Tennessee, but you wouldn't know it was her until August 2023. When her remains were discovered, it was determined with the use of macroscopic skeletal analysis, which is where they determine the state that her bones are in by any indicators they can find, that she died from blunt force trauma to her head. It has been proven that sex determination from the adult human skeleton can usually be reliably determined through an assessment of features found on the pelvis and cranium. And this is how the forensic anthropologists helping with this investigation were able to determine that the skeleton found was that of a young white female between 14 and 17 years old. When she was found, to authorities, she was just a partial skeleton that had been sitting in the landfill for at least 3 to 9 years. And it would take authorities another 40 years to identify her remains. After utilizing the scene context technique, or the collaboration of forensic pathologists, toxicologists, entomologists, and law enforcement, finally in December 2022, Linda's remains were sent to Othram Inc., a private laboratory specializing in forensic, genetic, genealogical DNA testing, which is located in Texas. By using the historical records technique, it was then they were finally able to compare Linda's extracted DNA from her bones to that of long-lost relatives, finally giving her an identity. Because of the nature of her bones, where they were found, and the macroscopic skeletal analysis showing blunt force trauma to her head, it was determined that this case is a homicide case. Unfortunately, although we know this was a homicide situation, we still don't know who the killer was or why this happened. There are many cases that have been successfully solved decades after they happened. It's especially encouraging these days because of the technological advances we have. So, although it is and will continue to be difficult to discover who committed this crime, it is not impossible. Law enforcement are continuing to work with the presence of clues that were left at the initial crime scene that could provide insight into the circumstances of Linda's death. We just can't lose hope.